The lost art of forgiveness. Trained for guilt, not for learning. Have you ever noticed how the process of being forgiven works in our modern world? Let's run through it. Let's say your friend does you dirty and you end up having to pay for something you never expected to. Now you're feeling hard done by, and the friend hasn't even realized you're upset. Tension increases in your connection until your friend realizes something is not quite right, not the same as before, and asks you to explain it to them. Or you just straight up tell them how you feel about it all. The conversation is quite uncomfortable until there is resolution in the connection. This is where the fork in the road appears. The modern road, the one of ease, comfort, and the least responsibility taken, is on the left, to correspond with the left hemisphere of the brain. And on the right fork in the road is the harder, but it ensures complete resolution in the connection, corresponding with the right hemisphere of the brain. Which road do you always want to take? Do you have a favourite? A person's preference may depend on their understanding of what will happen on each road moving forward. On the right road, emotions are needed to inform the responsibilities of thought, action, and behaviour. Responsibilities taken on by all parties according to what's in line with the creating's truth and love, guided by the emotions felt through the body. The mind is healed of its wounds to enable clarity again in the connection, and all parties are left with, going forward, is a feeling of certainty of the same problem not likely to come up again. Also, the characters which travel the right road are walking in the knowing, they have the skills, and are supported in full resolution and realignment with the creating's truth and love. Let's get back to the story and imagine these friends are in the modern world and are travelling the left road. On this road, the wrongdoing friend is required to say they are sorry. If this sorry is done in the right way, there is a communication of the wrongdoing friend having learned their lesson. However, there is no process included for proof, as this is the road of convenience and ease. What ends up happening is words, lots of words and intended tones to help the hard-done-by friend be convinced the work of self-understanding has been completed. When the words of, "Please forgive me, I won't do it again," come, there is a growing amount of pressure for the hard-done-by friend to allow the wrongdoing friend to be let off the hook. It is some kind of power play. In the modern world, letting someone off the hook is seen as an act of compassion. There is no certainty going forward that the wrong won't be done again. It seems to me, from my right road perspective, it's like getting another life in a video game. You need not have learned what to do or not do. You are in the process of figuring out what is required to move up a level. The left-brained modern world road of forgiveness does not allow for the connection between the two friends to be cleared. In the future, surely another version of the same will occur. Have you ever heard people complain about the amount of chances they have given someone? I have, and in my mind now I say, 1 is all I give, while I smile and nod. I was trained on what is urgent to send to the top of the applied learning list. I was trained by an uncompromising Hawaiian man named Kumu Lawrence Aki. He was always saying things about how he doesn't care what a person's intentions are. I used to not understand why that was. Now I understand. He had learned from his experiences with modern world thinkers. He understood intention is a cop-out. Modern people can easily intend but not actually make any kind of commitment to action. He used to always say this too: "Your opinion means shit to me." Kumu Lawrence said this quite often, even though he indulged in having opinions of his own. This was his way of saying that opinions of people who have not lived what they're talking about don't hold any weight with him. So when I hear a person saying they are sorry, I think of Kumu Lawrence. I know that people tell a whole lot of stories to themselves. They tell themselves a story and hope that other people agree and confirm it for them. They walk away from situations, like the story above, feeling absolved of any guilt or responsibility to change. This is where the title of this article comes from: Trained for Guilt, Not for Learning. The modern person who has made a mistake or has been trained to run away or find a way to be absolved of feeling any kind of guilt. Once they have their signal, they can drop the whole thing from their mind. What happens when two friends actually travel on different roads? One on the left road and one on the right road. Let's run the scenario through. If the wrong is done by the friend who travels the right road, they are already trained and expected to take responsibility. They will do the hardest thing. They will take the internal action first of reviewing their behaviour and make sure their thoughts are not coming from a mental wound. This ensures when they approach their friend who has been hurt, they can authentically state they have understood and have rectified the problem. They actually already have the greatest forgiveness from the creating. All that is left is to move forward in word, thought, and deed from that authentic place. Even if the hard done by friend travels on the left road, everything will go smoothly into the future of the connection. If the wrong is done by the friend who travels on the left road, in the worst case scenario, there will be avoidance and excuse making until confrontation happens. Often the hard done by friend will have a mental wounding that causes them to just cop it because they're not confident enough to confront. Otherwise, the wrongdoer may say something that tries to absolve them. These options are if the hard done by friend also travels on the left road. What happens, though, if the hard done by friend travels on the right road? I have just experienced this. I must admit, there was a great deal of pressure to have me help them off the hook they created. I did have to use my wisdom and connection with the creating to stay on my right road and wait without holding a heavy grudge. I feel as though my wrongdoing friend has still not worked out what to do to clear the connection. Yet, I am not impatient. I understand how confusing it must be to find out the other person is on a different road. Perhaps this is a learning opportunity for my friend. I know that I have used every hurt I felt by me as an opportunity to find the frequential source of it, and via the cleansing light of the creating's truth and love, sent it out of my energy body. I'm fairly confident via the feedback in my body that because I don't have those little hooks anymore, there's nothing for my wrongdoing friend to connect to. Maybe one day he will try to travel the same road as me. Who knows? This is why I understand that in the modern world, We are trained by our society, our families, our friends, siblings, lovers, bosses, etc., to be trained for guilt, not for learning. I have retrained myself. I retrained myself for learning. What is it I learned? I learned to take responsibility. I learned to find what I hold in my energy body, which allows the other to connect and hurt me. I learned how to remove those triggers. I learned how to use life as a teacher and each and every relationship there is in it for my purposes of learning. I learned how important and real my thoughts are inside of all the relationships I'm connected into. I learned what the creating's love and truth really is, boots on the ground, and how powerful it is when I allow it to run through me. I learned how to enable the creating, right hemisphere, and disable the ego part of my mind, left hemisphere, in relation to the job the creating does. I learned to create whole brain living. I love learning how to come back to my original self, my soul self, my true self, whatever you like to call it. I'm so close to it now all the time. I learned to be grateful for all of my wrongdoing friends, because without them, I wouldn't have found the mental wounds and healed them. I truly feel it is important to learn through living life. Test everything you think. Test with a form of measurement. Track your progress and find your methods that move you closer toward your inner self being able to come out. Hi, I'm Joanna Ruth from Tarot with JoannaRuth.Online. Hi, I'm Joanna Ruth, and this is your doorway to spiritual literacy. Why not come on in and learn some foundations together?